So this video going to be about spanking, and you might say it's like a beginner's guide to spanking because this is really basic things about spanking. I did a video not long ago for my other channel where I mentioned spanking and I got a lot of hits, so I assume this is a subject that interests a lot. And I'm a teacher, and this is one of the subjects I'm teaching, not spanking, but a health class and about sexuality. And therefore I think it's a good start to talk about. And first of all, when people want to go a little bit outside of the most, vanilla field, spanking is often the first thing they are thinking about and first thing they would like to try. And it's a very good thing to start with because it's very safe, it's very easy to do, and most people are very familiar with it. You know what it is and you know what to expect, and you don't really have to fear about it. But it's still, if you're not used to any of those kind of things, it's still a little bit, extra. It could be a little bit, intriguing. And that is, I guess, what most people are looking for when they want to spice up sex life a little bit. It doesn't really take any special arrangements either. It's also very simple to do, and that is also something good because it's make it very easy to be spontaneous. And when it comes to sex, spontaneous being spontaneous is something which is really important. That and be able to have humor and laugh about things. So who do the spanking? Well, everybody, young and old, and people with a lot of experience, and people without any experience at all. People can do it even when we have other kind of sexual. It can be almost the first kind of sexual thing you do. People not really ready for intercourse, but could try this out a little bit. I don't think that is that common, but it happens. And also people who had a long sex life together and just want to spice it up a little bit. It could be done in different contexts. Sometimes it's part of a role play. For example, it could be like, this teacher having a naughty student that you have to discipline. I'm a teacher, as I said. Or it could be a part of age play, which is not really that common, but it happens. Like, the child needs to be disciplined by the parent, or, there are a lot of, this role plays. It doesn't have to be a part of a role play. Sometimes you can hear people actually think that it has to be, and they have to go into this role, and they don't really feel comfortable and so on. And that is something I think you should try to avoid, because that only makes you tense up, and it takes a lot of edge of a lot of it. And it's better, if you can just relax and go with it and feel, try to feel what feels okay and what you like and so on. But naturally, if you want to have it as part of a role play, go for it. It's up to you. So, before you start actual spanking, are there anything you need to think about? Well, naturally, you have to have a partner who is into it, simply. I think most people can be open to the idea of spanking, at least, because it's so mild and it's so well known, and it's something very few are frightened of. It's quite normal, I can say. A lot of things, that is something a lot of people are a little bit afraid of, to not be normal when it comes to sexuality. And of course there are nothing that could be called normality, as long as everybody are over age and as adults involved, and nobody get harmed, and everything is voluntarily. It's not, nothing can be really wrong. But sure, if you are a little bit not that open-minded, spanking is often something that most people can open up to, at least. And so with that said, as I said, it's very easy to do. You don't really need to prepare anything. Most spanking involves just, your bare hand on a bare butt. And sometimes a person who spank is like to be fully dressed. It could, enforce the feeling of being dominant and being in charge and so on. So you don't have to, but you naturally can both of you be naked or just in your underwear or whatever you like to. But it's something a lot of people enjoy, that having a person who are a little bit dominant or one spanking are fully dressed, and you don't need to get completely naked either for this, or it don't have to be on a bare butt. Sometimes you like to have sensation of fabric and against your body, and sometimes it could be nice to just pull down your underwear a little bit and spank, and maybe you can feel the person who spank could feel the other person through the fabric, and if you feel it getting hard or getting wet, and it could be a nice part of the sensation to keep some of the clothes on. It's up to you, however you like to do it. A lot of people can also feel the sensation of being in a little bit colder room is something that could trigger the feeling of or the sensitivity in the skin, so could make it a little bit more exciting simply. But it's something you can try out however you like, whatever you like to find out. And if you don't spank with your hand, you can use some kind of tool. It can use pretty much anything, as long as it's nothing that doesn't harm the other person, and as long as both of you are, or if you're more, but often it's just two people, but however many ever you are, but as long as you are agree about what you're gonna use and how to use it, you can use pretty much anything. A towel could be useful, especially a wet towel. You should know that they are not that kind as you can think. Say wet towel doesn't sound that bad, but try wet towel and spank on your hand or arm first, or leg, and you can feel that it hurts a lot. And that is something you should do, whatever tool you settle for. Try it on yourself before you spank somebody else, but so you know what kind of pain you are giving to that person, because that is, I think, the only way you could actually hurt somebody when it comes to spanking, using a tool that isn't really fit for it and use it too forcefully. But the most popular, beside just using your hand, is using a hairbrush, for example, like this one. And there are different ways you can use those. Naturally, you can spank with the backside of them, like this. It's just a cheap little one from the supermarket. But this is actually quite a good choice, I think, because this is a rubber cover over this side of that. And when you hit the skin, it gets a little warm by the rubber, as it's not the natural material. This is not natural rubber, it's this plastic rubber. And it makes the skin warmer, and that is also something that could make you feel even more. It's also, it's hard to describe, but it's almost a little bit sticky, so it doesn't slide that easily, and also could enlighten the sensation of being spanked. And naturally, you can spank it this side, and you can imagine how nice that could be. It was little pegs down like this, really nice. Another type of brush I often use is this one. This is a very old one and well used, and I don't want to tell you what it's been used to. Here, mostly. With a wooden surface. This is much harder. It hurts more, but it's also slide easily. So it doesn't have this where skin gets stuck like that. So it's another kind of sensation. And also with these pegs, they are over hair. You can say on this one, it's pegs. This one and hair on this one. It's also another kind of a feeling, but if you spank like directly, is one kind of sensation, and I have one if you're spanking like what's a swing. It can easily scratch the skin a little bit, but I don't think that is a problem, because well, it's pain looking for, right? And you can do other things to spice up it a little bit more. Especially for the person who do the spanking, the person who getting spanked can't do very much, and I guess that is part of the thrill in this, that you really can't have any control of the situation. It is the person who spanks who have it literally in his or her hands, and you can naturally it's up to that person how you want to do it. Do you want the person you spank getting the maximum pleasure, when you could spank with your hand or with your toe, and maybe in between you could put your hand between his legs and feel them and give them a little special massage if you like to. You could play with the little butthole and so on, and it's all up to you if you want that person to come, or if you want to go on forever, and you feel when getting closer and closer, and when you can draw your hand and keep spanking and so on. So you can, you know, build this up to almost, or you can build this up to the major act in a sexual act if you want to. Most people use this as some kind of foreplay, but it could be used as a single part of, or only a sexual act you're doing together. And you know, you don't need to have a person you don't need to let the person come. You can, you know, just tease them and tell them to get dressed again and leave them there. Not nice, or very nice, depending on how you see it. But no, it's up to you. You can try different ways and try out with the partner and see what you like and don't like. You can also experiment with heat and cold, as I said, but with air. But you can also experiment with different kind of tools that you are heating up and or cooling down. But we're getting to that in another part, I think, because this was just the beginning and of the spanking. And more thing. Sometimes people asking me when I talk about this in schools, or especially when I talk with adult students, do you need a safe word for spanking? Nah. But it could still be useful if it's something you feel you would like to have. You should definitely have it, because if you feel you want to have it, it's something that will make you feel even better about the situation and will, you know, make the experience more enjoyable, definitely. You don't need it of a safety reason, because you can't hardly harm anyone, and the person getting spanked could just stand up and walk away and say, what are you doing, if you want to. It's not dangerous in any way. Therefore it's a very good thing to start with. But if you think you want to try more and other more advanced things that could be a little bit dangerous, it could be useful to practice using a safe word. And it could also give you the feeling of doing something which is much more dangerous, and that in itself could be, you know, really nice. So yeah, if anything you want to ask me, just feel free to ask me here in the comments or in private message, and thank you for watching.